It's funny, I have my cat mom mug and I have Cicero sleeping on a blankie. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Bookmas. You have heard it right, I am doing Bookmas or Vlogmas on my channel. I'm kind of doing a combination of both since the polls seem to go and kind of lean in that direction. So with that being said, I think one of the videos that I am going to do is the end of the year book tag. This might be a little bit delayed, so I'm so sorry for that, but I figured that this would be really great to go and include in our little Bookmas series, just to go and wrap up a few lingering questions for my channel and answer some questions that a lot of booktubers have also been answering. So with that being said, let us go and jump into the first question. So the end of the year book tag is created by Ariel Bissett. I don't think that this person really creates a lot of booktube content. However, they were, as far as I'm aware, the first person that created this video, so I want to go and give credit to them. But question number one is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? So with a lot of my books, I usually tend to go and wrap them up at least that month. Sometimes they carry over into the next month, but I don't usually drag out any books that I'm reading for long periods of time. I find that if I do that, then more than likely it's because I'm absolutely not interested in it, and that will usually result in a DNF. But there is one book that I technically started in the month of October, and then it did end up going and dragging into November as well. So that is From Below by Darcy Coates. So with this book, I had the intention of going and reading it for the Dungeons and Book Dragons readathon for quest number 6. Currently, I am pre-recording some of my videos a little bit early just to go and take some stress off of me. So there is a chance that by the end of November, I will have finished this book. But right now, as I'm bulk recording this, I don't quite know. So this is probably the book that I would go and put for question number 1, because I would obviously like to go and finish this book before the end of the year. I think I do also have it on my horror bingo as well, so I'm really aiming to go and finish this book. I think it is possible. I just have to really buckle down and make myself go and read this book. And the reason I say that is because deep water horror stories are some that can be a little bit more scary for me. I'm someone that's very scared of sharks, so if there is a likelihood that there could be sharks or shark-like creatures, I tend to get a little bit more scared and more hesitant. But I do also love horror books, and I am a huge fan of Darcy Coates, so more than likely I will go and finish this book. It just might take me a little bit more time to do it as I get braver and braver. All right, question number 2. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So this one took a little bit of thinking, because honestly, I'm not really someone that reads based off of the seasons. I tend to do a little bit more mood reading, and I might go and read like a snowstorm book during the summer or a summer book during the winter. I think the only exception is usually with horror and thriller books. I might read a little bit more of them in October just for those extra creepy vibes. To give you a better idea of what kind of person I am, I eat ice cream year round. It doesn't matter if there's a snowstorm outside, I will still eat ice cream. Same with having hot soup during the summer. I like what I like, and I don't really care what time of the year I have it. But just to go and pick a book for this question, I felt like I would go with Fall I Want by Lyra Parrish. I feel like this is a great book for kind of the fall season, something that's nice and cozy and you can curl up in a blanket with. So that would probably be my pick for this question. Question number 3, is there a new release you're still waiting for? I think at this point of me filming this video, all the books that I have been really looking forward to have already been published. However, I have not read them yet. A few of those would be People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young, as well as I, Medusa by Ayana Gray. Those were some of the books that were my most anticipated releases for the year of 2025. I was almost going to say 2026. Those were some of my anticipated reads for this year. I have yet to read them, but the year's not over yet, so here's hoping I can go and squeeze those 2 books in. Question number 4, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? I think this one could easily be answered with the previous question, as well as I have already posted my 10 before the end, so you can go and look at this video up here. But I think some other books that I have not mentioned in that video would probably be Snow Globe. I have been really wanting to go and finish this duology. I really loved the first one. I'm not quite sure what the second book is called because these are translated books. So the first one was called Snow Globe. This one is also called Snow Globe. But the first one was so good. It gave me a lot of those Hunger Game vibes, but add like a huge snowstorm blizzard type of setting. It was so much fun, so different from any other books that I've read before. And this book came out this year, and I've just been so excited to dive back into it and finish it. So this would probably be one additional book that I didn't mention in my 10 before the end that I would like to read as well. Question number 5, what trends have you noticed in your reading this year? So this is one that I actually didn't notice until recently. So I did read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst for the Dungeons and Book Dragons readathon, and one thing I'm noticing is although cozy fantasies are enjoyable reads for me, they're books that I usually hesitate towards picking up. Now, last year I read The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. I believe that's the author's name. And it was one of my favorite books. I believe I rated it 5 stars. However, that book made me bawl my eyes out because it reminded me of my grandma so much. And sadly, my grandma is not around anymore, but she was someone that curated a lot of things that I still love to this day, such as reading, and books that give me nostalgia feelings towards my grandma are ones that usually make me bawl my eyes out. And although I absolutely love those books and I usually rate them very highly, I'm always hesitant to pick them up because I know I'm just gonna bawl my eyes out. And not in a sad way, but in a nostalgic way. So that was probably something that I discovered about myself when I read The Spell Shop. I do love cozy fantasy books, but when they're very cozy, such as this book, and I guess if they tend to have a cute little cottage on the front with a lot of plant life, they're 100% going to be a book that reminds me of my grandma and makes me cry. And that is something I realized about myself very quickly after reading a few pages in this book. Question number 6. How do you feel about your reading goals? Anything you want to change, adjust, or abandon? At this point where I'm filming this video, I am at 85 books read out of 100 for the year. And last year, I believe I read around 95 books, and I was like, I got really close to 100, so I'm going to go and set the goal for 100 for the coming year. So obviously, I'm not at 100 yet, I'm only at 85, but there's still time left before the end of the year, so there is a chance that I could get closer to this goal. I don't think I want to go and abandon it, possibly because I'm stubborn, but I think this could still be doable for me. I think regardless of whether or not I do reach 100 books read this year, I think that is a number that I'd consistently like to set my reading goal at. I think it's a great number to try to push myself to go and read more books and everything like that. So I don't think there's anything I would change about this, adjust it, anything like that. I think 100 is still the number that I'm going to stick with, even though as I'm saying this, 2026 is going to be a very, very busy year because that is the year we have our wedding. But I still want to push myself. I still want to push myself to continue reading and diving into different books that come out. So yeah, I'm not changing my reading goal. Question number 7. Have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yes, I have. So something that I like to do is whenever I get cool ideas for videos, I go and write them down in my notebook. So whenever there's a moment that I'm feeling uninspired, really conflicted on what I want to do, I'll usually go and jump over into that list and I'll find one that I want to go and film. So I constantly have ideas going. I have some really fun ideas planned for the Defend the TBR game. So this game will get an entirely new look, a new facelift, a bunch of new things added onto it, and also will be made in a way where people that watch my videos, if they've wanted to play this game, they'll be able to do it as well, and it will be completely free. So that is another really fun thing that I have planned for the year of 2026. I'm also thinking that If it's something that people are interested in, I might do little inside looks at some of the wedding planning stuff that we're doing and take you along there. And then I'm also thinking I might do different types of themes. So for 2026, I'd really love to focus on reading a lot of books on my bookshelves. I know I do have the Love It or Lose It series, but I kind of think I want to change around that a little bit, where I'm focusing on all the books on my bookshelves and not just the books that I'm uncertain on whether or not I want to unhaul them. So I might go and extend that, but I'd also like doing series where it's reading books that only have white book covers or only have trees on the covers or things like that. I think that could be really fun too. So needless to say, I have a bunch of really fun ideas for 2026, and if there's some that intrigue you, definitely go and consider subscribing to my channel, maybe also leaving a like, doing those little things to go and support me and let me know that you're excited for the content that I'm creating, because I fully plan on being here for quite some time, so hopefully you don't get tired of me. But yeah, those are the questions for the end of the year tag. I know I'm a little bit late going and doing it, but I felt like it would be fun to go and add to our little Bookmas series and have a fun little video that way to go and kind of wrap things up for the year. But I'm hopeful that I'll still be able to achieve a lot of these goals that I mentioned in this video. There's still some time, so I'm not going to sell myself short just yet and say that there's no way I'm going to do them, because I'm hopeful it's probably going to happen. But if there are any books that you're hoping to read before the end of the year, definitely let me know down in the comments below. I'm curious to see if there's common books that we have that we'd both like to read, or if there's a completely different book that you're hoping to read before the end of the year. And keep an eye on my channel, because whether or not they are book focused videos or vlog style videos, we're gonna have a bunch of different stuff on this channel, and I hope you're excited for it. But as always, I always wrap up my videos by saying, I want you all to remember that you're worthy and capable of amazing things. Bye, friends.